It is incredibly muddy here.
It's doing really well, actually.
Yeah. It's doing just as well as the 4Runner did.
Yep.
If not maybe a little bit better. Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt.
And my name is Paulo, and we just spent a week with Subaru's new Forester Hybrid.
And it is very, very good. And I'm going to walk you around everything that you need to know about the new Forester Hybrid.
Yes, and then we're going to get behind the wheel and talk about some of the standouts for the week.
But stay tuned, because we also did take this thing off-road at the Mama Spring Rally at Road America earlier this year. So there's a lot to cover. Let's get into it. But before we dive into the main event, you guys already know we're going to zoom in on some of the funky little odds and ends. Like for one, Subaru has off-roading in their DNA, and while this isn't a wilderness, you still get 8.7 inches of ground clearance. So yeah, you can go pretty much anywhere, especially when you got symmetrical all-wheel drive. And just like in my RAV4 hybrid, you've got an EV mode, which will tell the car you want to drive in just electric mode, but it's only going to work under 25 miles an hour and at very light throttle input. And you have 360 cameras. You've got a camera button down here, which almost does kind of like the Toyota Egg View mode, except this is way more useful. I don't know why they couldn't pay for to stitch the transitions as it rotates around the car, but they didn't, so it blacks it out, but still. It's great to see, and it's nice context for if you're trying to park in tight spaces. And we mentioned ground clearance earlier, so it's worth mentioning that you do have X mode options here on your Forester Hybrid. You've still got normal, deep snow and mud, and some snow and dirt. And you also have SI drive, so intelligent, and then a more sporty-oriented driving experience. And we'll talk more about this behind the wheel. And I want to shout out the Harman Kardon audio system that you have here. It's pretty dang good. But I also want to shout out the fact that you still have an aux port, which takes me back to high school. And you have an unbelievable amount of Easter eggs. Now there's these hummingbirds, one at the top of the windshield here. There's another on this third window back here, your D or C pillar window. And there's one on the other side as well. Where is it? There it is. I hope you can see that. And on the sunroof. But it doesn't stop there, because if you open up your trunk and you look underneath here, you see that you've got a compass right there. And down here, you've got a little lantern. You've also got all sorts of detailing down here, but there's a lantern to be specific. And then we're gonna look back up at the trunk because you've got a little mountain profile. And up the cabin, your rear doors, they've got paw prints on each side, and your floor mats have a little Subaru star on them. Also, it's worth mentioning more mountains and Subaru stars right there. And your front doors, they got hiking boots on each side. And if you look really closely, there's coordinates on your all-weather floor mats down here. All right, with that truly insane amount of Easter eggs covered, let's zoom back out and talk about what this is and what it competes against. Now for the 25 model year, Subaru actually gave the Forester a refresh. It's an entirely new generation. We drove that last year at Road America. But now they've also introduced, for the same 2025 model year, the hybrid, which means it now competes against things like my wife and I's CR-V hybrid, my RAV4 hybrid, the CX-50 hybrid that we drove earlier this year, the Tucson hybrid that we'll drive it a little bit later, and the Sportage hybrid from Kia that we drove earlier this year. So we've been all over this segment, and we're going to use that knowledge as we go through this new Forester hybrid. But since we mentioned it a bunch of times, let's talk about what's going on under the hood. Now it's the similar 2.5 Boxer 4-cylinder, but now it's working with a 1.1 kilowatt-hour battery. Now you would think that maybe since Toyota owns some of Subaru, that it would be a Toyota hybrid under here. It's not. It does use Toyota componentry, but it's not a Toyota power unit. It's still all Subaru. It's still all Boxer. Power output is good for 194 horsepower, and 0 to 60 is good for 8.5 seconds, so it's not exactly quick, but it is efficient. The EPA rates it at about 35 mpg, but we way outperformed that in our Lakeshore Loop. About 30 miles of testing, and we got about 39 miles per gallon. And it stayed pretty efficient even after we did our test. So I gotta say, at least so far, this Forester hybrid seems like a winner. And the winning doesn't stop there. When we talk about where that power is going to go, it's going to go through a Lineartronic CVT with your X mode, and you've got 6 kind of synthesized gears that it could go through. But the big thing, especially here in Wisconsin or anywhere you get snow or inclement weather, is you get symmetrical all-wheel drive. It's a mechanical all-wheel drive system even with the hybrid. You've got active torque vectoring, and this is a big deal because the RAV4 hybrid that I have uses an E all-wheel drive. And this is still really efficient while using a more conventional all-wheel drive system that's going to be a little bit more robust in snow and slush and bad road conditions. In S mode, power. It is not fast. So we're going to cut that out. That's the reason that I've not been in S mode at all this week, because there's not really a point. 0 to 60 is over like 8 seconds, so like who cares? It's certainly got enough power. I don't want it to sound like it's completely anemic or gutless. It's got enough power, and the truth is with the hybrid now, it's got immediate electric torque that you can feel coming off the line. So it feels a little bit more, I don't want to say athletic or agile, but like something like that. But I do want to talk about this hybrid and how it feels behind the wheel, because I'm actually really impressed with it. Now, the most seamless transition between electric and then when the gas engine kicks on is my CR-V hybrid. That's because the Honda 2-motor system is a very different interpretation on what a hybrid is. We won't go into that. That's a different video. Go watch our Honda videos. But this, I have to say, is really, really impressive. The hybrid transition, when the gas engine turns on while you're bopping around in electric, is a lot more seamless than in my RAV4 hybrid. There's a lot more of a torque kick when the gas engine turns on in my RAV4 than in this Forester. That is to say, good job, Subaru. This has been very well executed. Also, the efficiency that we've gotten here this week in this thing is really impressive. So I am genuinely and proper impressed with what Subaru has achieved here with this new hybrid system. The rest of the driving experience, there's a little bit of deadness on center with the steering. The steering's not my favorite, but it's a Forester. It's not a sports car or anything like that. The CVT, absolutely no problems with it. I think it makes sense here. You go into like your Korean twins, your Tucson and your Sportage, and they have a conventional kind of stepped automatic. And it just feels a little bit more disjointed at times with the hybrid and the auto. I think the hybrid with the CVT here works really pretty well. Also, traction, getting to all 4 wheels, not been a problem. But just sitting here and driving and just being behind the wheel of this thing, the thing that struck me immediately upon sitting in here is it feels expansive in the cabin here. It's a really low dash. The visibility is incredible. And also, I have so much room above my head that it feels, I'm so far away from feeling claustrophobic. It feels so nice in here. And the ride is really good. It's not quite as like cushy wumpy as in my CR-V, but it's so much better than the ride in that Mazda CX-50 that we were in earlier. It's probably a little bit better than my RAV4 XSE as well. So I'm actually pretty impressed with what we've got going on behind the wheel here. Subaru Forester hybrid. Hybrid off-road. Have we done a hybrid off-road before? We've had EVs off-road before.
I don't know.
I actually don't know if we had hybrid off-road.
I've never driven a Subaru off-road.
So we just had lunch here at Road America.
And learned all about this. Yeah.
And they're very confident in the off-road capabilities and the 4x4 capabilities, which will be very interesting because we were just out here in a 4Runner and there was somebody else out here in an X5 that got incredibly stuck.
Yes.
So we're going to see how this little guy does.
Yeah, and they basically said that like it was really important that they didn't sacrifice any off-road capabilities in this thing. Oh wait, okay. Whoa.
See?
I like cannot talk and drive at the same time.
So we've gone through this course once before, and it's real greasy. So if this thing gets through, you're going to want to take some speed through here. Not crazy, but yeah, there you go. If this thing gets through here...
Wait, can you get the camera back on here?
I think this is the biggest compliment that we can give it is just buy it. We green? Oh yeah, you green. Okay. Okay, easy. A little bit of high center, and then through the puddle. Classic.
So yeah, we have what 25 or 28 MPG, 25
MPG.
MPG.
35 combined.
Yes.
So this hybrid system is not like the Toyota hybrid system. This is a full Subaru symmetrical 4-wheel drive. We've got our X mode here in deep snow/mud because obviously it is incredibly muddy here.
It's doing really well, actually.
Yeah. It's doing just as well as the 4Runner did.
Yeah.
If not maybe a little bit better. Now, I will say the 4Runner obviously has more stuff to do harder stuff.
Yeah.
But for what we're doing right now, right here in this application, this is doing 4Runner stuff.
It's pretty impressive, actually, for like the package that it is.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it struggled for traction yet.
I wish you had a bit more like, so this obviously doesn't have like a gearing ratio.
Low range.
I don't necessarily know if you need it for this sort of stuff. And honestly, I mean, how much more crazy are you going to get in a Forester?
Right. This is the most hardcore stuff I think a Forester hybrid should do.
Yeah.
And that's why I think if this gets through this course in this condition, that's a huge compliment to this thing.
Yeah.
All right, so try to stop right around here. Or not.
Sorry. Wait, what were you going to try and check?
I was going to try to test traction, because if we stopped on the incline, that's like a torture test.
Could you still get up it?
But apparently we won't do that test.
We'll do it in something else.
Oh, sure. But that doesn't really help the Forester video, does it?
Oh, you're right. Shoot.
I don't really know. There's not much else to say. This is one of those where it's like, there's not low ranges to mess with. There's not like crazy drive modes to mess with. We're just in drive, in X mode with deep snow mud, and the car is going to take care of everything.
Yeah, handling really well.
Yeah. So this is like a really non-intimidating. We're green, right?
Yes. I don't know why.
I always get confused at this junction. But it's really like unintimidating to approach.
Ooh, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, in deep snow and mud. Oh, they canceled this part of the course.
Wait, I can't even.
Go, power.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's figuring it out. It's making a lot of beepings and bongings, but it's figuring it out.
We're getting through it.
We are.
I wonder if that X5 is still there.
It must be.
So this is more capable than an X5, let's just say that.
You could say that. And more importantly, it's just as capable as a 4Runner, apparently.
Yep.
I mean, ooh.
There you go.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
It did a nice job.
We went out and back, not a single issue.
Yeah, no. The traction light got thrown on a little bit, but like it did a really nice job.
It managed the torque.
It's composed. It
managed the grip.
Yep.
This is not on off-road tires. This is just a Forester hybrid.
And honestly, I don't think you're gonna want to do anything more off-roady than this.
No. I mean, we're out here with Jeeps and like big Ram RHOs and 4Runners, and
it'll handle what you throw at it.
Yeah. Good job, Subaru. Good job. But then we'll touch on styling. Now, our tester here is draped in autumn green metallic paint. It's $500, and I think it's totally worth it. It looks great. And our hybrid here also has the big gloss black kind of hex grille. You've got lower fascia dimples in your lower bumper, which is kind of interesting. And back up top, you've got steering responsive LEDs as standard. You've also got LED fog lights, which is certainly worth mentioning on a Forester. And around the side, you've got a hybrid badge under your wing mirrors to designate, in fact, that you do have the hybrid, because it's not super shouty about it. And then zooming out, the profile looks pretty Forester. It looks boxy and geometric and pretty conventional. And we do have the two-tone black roof up top. We've got the kind of interesting D-pillar badging, but then again, down below, we're looking at 19-inch wheels, and the front wheels have a little bit of an aero gill effect to them. You've got roof rails as standard, and around back, they are calling a lot of attention to that extra exhaust area on the driver's side, that left side, that doesn't really have an exhaust pipe, so that's interesting. The only thing that I guess I would complain about from a styling perspective is that your turn signals are incandescent, at least on the rear. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. I personally liked the pre-refresh or the previous generation, but leave it down in the comments what you like more, this or the old one. And then of course, we'll check out the trunk. Pretty conventional rubberized button, power liftgate, which you'd love to see, and you do have a separate button for close and lock. We're going to look at the space. The opening itself is really wide, and then the space is actually really good too. You're getting 29.6 cubic feet of space. You can fold the seats from the trunk. I love that Subaru does this. This was in the Outback that we were in the other week too. I like that you can do that. You don't have to reach over into the rear seats to fold the seats. But with the seats down, you'd be looking at 74.4 cubic feet of space in the non-hybrid. The hybrid is good for a couple cubic feet less because of the battery and the packaging and things like that. So it's just under 70 cubic feet. So it's a little bit smaller than something like a CR-V or a RAV4, but it's certainly not impractical by any means. And you've got a lot of kind of customizability and utility here. Of course, you've got 12-volt outlet like you would usually have, and then you can set up some sort of like bar and rack or like shelf system going on here and here to make the trunk as customizable and utilitarian as you could possibly want. And I do think it's probably worth mentioning that your towing capacity is about 1,500 pounds, which is pretty competitive for the segment. Then we'll move up to talk about the rear seats. We'll do our usual door test. Not quite 90 degrees, but pretty close and pretty easy to get stuff in here. Now, we don't have window shades for our doors, but we have some really nice kind of contrasted dark brown stitching and this kind of micro suede or Alcantara padded kind of leather. We talked about some of the accenting and detailing in here. And the seats themselves, really nice leather with some of the Alcantara for our top trim here. But I'll step in at 6'1", and I've got a huge amount of knee room in front of me, several inches of knee room, and it doesn't stop when I get to headroom. even without my hat on, I've got plenty of headroom in here. The only thing that I'm gonna ding it on a little bit maybe is the fact that you got a manual sunshade, but you have this huge panoramic roof, and to be honest, I don't really mind the manual sunshade that much. But you do have 2 level, or even I guess kind of 3 map pockets per seat back here, which is really pretty cool. We've got climate vents back here, no specific zone, no third zone for the rear seats, but still really nice. USB-C, USB-A, and then 2 level heated seats for the rear of your Forester Hybrid. I mean, I love the back seats here on the Forester Hybrid. Okay, super annoying. I'm at a standstill, I'm in park, but it's still upset that I'm not wearing my seatbelt. And we'll move up the cabin yet again to talk about the front seats. Now we do have 2-person memory seat here for our top trim, and the seats themselves, very, very comfortable. We've got that kind of dual material, so we've got a leather inner and then a more Alcantara or micro suede for your bolsters. Really pretty comfy. We've got this kind of brown stitching here to give it a little bit of class and sophistication with the autumn green metallic paint. 3 level heated seats, 3 level cooled seats, at least for our top trim here, and a heated steering wheel. So not only is it comfortable, the seating position, it's nice and organic as you look out the front. Then we'll touch on the overarching cabin experience real quick. Now I have to say, the design feels pretty familiar to the Outback that we were just in, the Crosstrek, and even kind of the Ascent a little, but there's a big improvement for this new generation of Forester in terms of materials and just the overall feel in the cabin. There's a diversity of textures, there's a diversity of materials, and if you go for a non-black interior, you can get a diversity of colors. But you've got this big vertical center screen. The climate is kind of semi-physical, with the temperature buttons actually being buttons, but you've got physical buttons on the steering wheel. There's not too much gloss black in your center console. The cup holders are in an ergonomic spot, and I like the dimpling that you get across the dash. But it certainly does feel, maybe surprisingly, maybe not, like on the more luxurious side of the segment. Certainly feels nicer than my RAV4. Now granted, there's a new RAV4 coming out, but yeah, this feels pretty good, Subaru. Then more specifically on technology, even though we're in our top trim here, we're not gonna have a head-up display. It's cool, I'm not really that bothered by it. I don't really need a head-up display for something like this, but we do have a fully digital instrument cluster, which is really nice. The graphics don't seem to be the same. They seem to be like a different generation of graphics or skin than you get in your center 11.6-inch Starlink infotainment system. It is vertically oriented, as it has been for a while. We do get all of our climate controls down here, and it's fine. There's a touch of lag here and there. It doesn't look the most modern, but I've got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and to be honest, it's fine. We talked about the 360 cameras that you get, pretty good. And above here, we've got a digital rear view mirror. So the tech, as long as you don't need a head-up display, you've got everything that you could probably want. But we also should mention the eyesight system, your driver assist suite. It's kind of, I would say, medium good. There's 3 cameras that kind of live in the windshield here, and it works fairly well. The adaptive cruise works perfectly fine, but the lane keep, when it does work, is pretty good. It doesn't ping pong you too much, but it also just like doesn't use steer assist sometimes on like a beautifully perfect sunny day, which is just a little bit odd. But when it does work, it's pretty good. Now, the thing that we complained about in the Outback, I don't remember which video goes live first, it might be this one, but we complained in the Outback that the eyeball watcher was really, really annoying. It's less annoying. I don't know what they've done to differentiate from the Outback, but it seems a little bit less intrusive in this Forester Hybrid than it was in the Outback, so that's a plus. Hey guys, real quick, Matt here. Just wanted to say I hope you've been enjoying the video. If you have, would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it does go a long way in helping us get access to cars sooner and get access to manufacturer engineers so we can get more information on the cars and get you more information so you can make better decisions. So would really appreciate you hitting that subscribe, like, comment, the whole YouTube thing. But with that, let's get back to the video.
Forester Hybrid launch power.
194 of the powers.
Yes.
I actually really like it. It's slow, but like I really like it.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
So jump to me, huh?
Yes. Hard cut to you doing pros and cons.
Yeah, so I think the first thing, obviously, we got to talk about the hybrid. And let's talk about how it drives first. I think that it drives very, very well. I think the transition between the electrical power components and the engine components work really, really well. I think under braking and some of the regen feels really, really natural. You can't tell that it's doing any regen.
Yeah.
So I think they nailed that, I think, from like a driving perspective.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not quite as seamless, that hybrid handoff, as in the CR-V hybrid, because that's a very different hybrid system. But when you compare it to the other big dog in this segment, the RAV4 hybrid, this is a smoother transition when the engine kicks on than in my RAV4 hybrid. And that's definitely worth saying something.
Yep.
And it's not just a Toyota hybrid under the hood. It's a Subaru. It's a Boxer 4. There's some Toyota componentry, but it is a Subaru mill underneath.
Exactly.
And it's Subaru all-wheel drive. So it's going to be like legit all-wheel drive for snowy conditions, which tends to happen here in Wisconsin.
Yep.
So definitely worth noting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all good points.
Next point.
Yeah, the next point. I think that it rides really well. Very comfortable. Inside, it seems very spacious. I think you have a really good view of the road. Like, it feels very open in here. There's, you know, your blind spots aren't really as big. It just feels like you have optimal viewing around the car.
Yeah, it does feel like a low dash. I feel like I've got a lot of vertical space above my head. Makes it feel very open and relaxing.
Yeah.
Next.
I think you don't necessarily like the styling, and obviously styling is subjective.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think it looks pretty good. You like the crab claw tail lights.
I should say I don't dislike it. It's just kind of meh to me. It's just fine. It's fine. It's not offensive, but it's not, you know, amazing either.
I really like the new digital dash. I think that it looks really good. The resolution is good. The animations are good. It is just still puzzling to me that it just seems like a completely different screen resolution quality than the center infotainment system.
But it does seem like the graphics skin is different on the cluster versus the center screen here.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is a little odd.
Yeah, but overall I really liked it. I'm trying to think of it was, there's like some decent amenities in the trunk that you have, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, overall I think it was really, really good. I think the only things that I'd call out, like the one thing that I did a bit of math on was here
comes the math, ladies and gents.
Which, okay, I also forgot to mention that you get better MPG than reported. So I think they say EPA 35 MPG combined. I was getting 38.
Yeah, the Lakeshore Loop test that we always do does generally tend to flatter cars. That came back with 39 on the dot. So to maintain almost that, usually after our Lakeshore Loop test, the rest of the week we're down like 2 to 4 to 6 MPG. But this remained pretty steady on its efficiency. Across highway, across side streets, that's something that we talk about in my wife's CRV hybrid all the time. It's way thirstier on the highway, and it's way thirstier in wintertime and cold time conditions. So this seems a lot more resilient to external factors, which I love to see.
Yeah, definitely. But now to jump back to the one like con that I was thinking.
Yeah, the math.
And the only reason why I did this is because I was trying to calculate when I got my Prius, like what the benefit would be monthly in terms of how much fuel I'd be saving from a dollar perspective. So I did the math on like, okay, the hybrid in the Forester is on average around $3,000 more than the non-hybrid. And that gets you about 7 to 10 MPG better, depending on if you're just going off EPA or like what we got, which was 38. Because that would mean that the non-hybrid gets like 28 MPG.
Yeah, sorry, this dog distracted me.
Are you back?
It's
a big
fluffy,
dog.
That's a big dog. It's a collie.
It's probably so hot.
It probably is.
Okay, but anyway, so 3K more, about 7 to 10 MPG better. That would mean with current gas prices, which are like $3 in the mid, I think nationwide it's like $3. It would be about 8 to 10 years for the payoff.
Right. So, of course, that'll vary depending on where you live and
mileage too,
what you're paying and how much you're driving. So that will vary in terms of time, but it is something worth noting. Now, I will say, this is the first time we brought this up in a video, but it's not a unique Subaru issue.
No.
I mean, it's the same across the board. The Honda hybrid is more expensive. The Toyota hybrid is more expensive. The Hyundai, the Kia, all of that. It's always more expensive than the gas-only option. So if you're going to go at it from a purely financial standpoint, go ahead and do your math and anticipate how long you expect to keep the car and have fun with that math.
Yeah, I mean, I also did some researching, like very little, but hybrids do tend to hold their value more than non-hybrids. So if you were to trade this in or try and sell it, just know that you are going to recoup some of that you buy it for. And I guess I'd also say it wouldn't necessarily change what I would do. I would personally get a hybrid because I do want better MPG, even though that payback period.
Yeah, and there's other benefits to hybrids too. I mean, you've got more power than in the non-hybrid. Yep. EV mode, it's going to be quieter and more refined. I think there's still a lot of pros to be had.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're going to do your own cost-benefit analysis. This feels very professional, what we're talking about, cost-benefit analysis,
Yeah.
doing math.
This
is the most professional downshift video.
We're being grown-ups today.
This is unbelievable. If you didn't have any more math, I'm just going to zoom back out and say that I really did enjoy this. I was actually really impressed. I mean, this is one of the first years. I don't remember if they've had a Subaru Forester hybrid in the past, but this is the first one for this generation, the first one they've had in a long time. And I was really impressed. Really, really, really impressed the way that they've integrated the hybrid system and the fact that it still remains really capable off-road. I don't know where we put the off-road footage in this video when it comes to the edit, but we did the same course in this that we did with a 4Runner. And this did everything the 4Runner did.
Yep.
In wet, muddy conditions.
Yeah.
So that is very commendable.
That was a lot of fun.
So if you don't have anything more.
Yeah, no, I just think they did a nice job seamlessly integrating the hybrid aspect into the Forester. I think a lot of people won't even realize that it is, and that's a good thing.
That is. So thank you to Subaru, well done, and thank you to you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.